Own your ambition without apology. I think so many times as women, we're afraid to say, I want more, or I'm capable of more, or I want to lead, I want to be in a position of leadership. I think we need to give ourselves the ability to do that and to say, I am ambitious. I do want to take opportunities as they arise and see, where can I go with my leadership? Absolutely.
Welcome to the Jeff Sutherland Show. Let's grow today as we learn from decades of real estate and leadership experience.
We want you to know that when you log into this show, you're going to get authentic conversation. We're going to give it to you straight, and it's going to be real. Hey, everybody, this is Jeff and Chase on the Jeff Sutherland Show. Boy, we have a good guest for you today. We have the Vice President of Operations for the biggest and most successful real estate company in the world, eXp Realty. Her name's Beth Adams. And I mean, I told you guys we'd be bringing on talent, right, Chase? I told everybody we're bringing on ballers. And yes, we continue to bring on amazing people week after week. So this is going to be great, especially if you want to learn from a woman who's highly successful and does it the right way with integrity. So before we get to Beth, real quick, a little bit about the market down here in Phoenix, where Chase and I do a lot of selling and a lot of buying and a lot of helping clients. The interest rates continue to slowly trickle down, which is a good thing. You know, we have a lot of towns and cities on the periphery of Phoenix that are in buyer's markets. And usually those are the first to go into a buyer's market and the last to go out. And the inner cities are usually the last to go into a buyer's market and the first to come out, because what happens is when the prices start to decrease a little bit in the inner cities, places like Gilbert and Mesa and Phoenix, then the outskirts buyers start to come in and buy those homes, and those inner cities, the supply is absorbed. And then those bounce back a lot more quickly. So right now we have an amazing opportunity for buyers. As I predicted a few months ago, we've seen a lot of concessions, a lot of price reductions. And now we're finally seeing a point where most of the cities in the valley, most of them are in a full-blown buyer's market. And so that means opportunity for buyers. We've only had 4 buyer's markets in the last 25 years. So you will see the median sales price continue to probably go down through the end of the summer. And then as the rates start to trickle down even more, if they do, and we hope they do, you'll probably see some price moderation. And then if the rates continue to trickle down even more, you may see the prices go up again, because typically when rates go down, prices go up. That's typical what happens. Here's the other piece of good news in Phoenix. Right now, our inflation rate is nearly 0 when the rest of the country is running around 2%. That's great news for Phoenix. And our wage growth is up 9%. So there's a lot of good things going on in Arizona. People keep coming here. The labor market's fantastic. We have huge companies coming in, supplying mega jobs like TSMC. You know, we're talking $180 billion expansion in North Phoenix. Will totally change the economy in Phoenix. So a lot of good things to happen. So thanks for letting me verbally vomit on you about Phoenix. And now we get to introduce Beth Adams, the Vice President of Brokerage Operations. Beth, thank you for coming on the show today.
Well, thanks for having me, Jeff. Chase. So excited to be here. I was so thrilled when you reached out, and I just can't wait to just visit with you and hang out with you. So thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. You know, Beth, you've done so well in your career. I followed you. In fact, I wanted to work with you at one place before we worked at eXp. That's how much I thought of you. And you've catapulted up the ranks to a high producing real estate agent with your husband. And now you're on the executive staff of a great company. So tell us a little bit about your journey. And you've also done this, by the way, in a very small town in Arizona, in Camp Verde. So That's amazing. Tell us about your story.
Well, I've been licensed for a long time. I've been licensed for 22 years now. Got licensed when I was 12. No, just kidding. And I love real estate. I fell in love with the idea of helping people. But as I, matured into the real estate market and the real estate industry, I think what bubbled out of settling into that was a love of leadership. And being able to take the skill set that I learned over the years and be able to share that with others, and that really kind of became my passion as I continued to grow into this industry. But, starting out, yes, it's a small town. And of course, there can be limitations if we want to place them on ourselves with a small town. But I think that in any market and in any industry and in any type of market, right? We've seen some big swings over our market in the last couple of years. I don't think it matters where you are, the size of your market, or what type of market you're in. I think it matters who you are, right? And how you handle your business. I think that's really probably most important. One of the things that I learned very early on, just being a solo agent, and then, as you said, I got to work with my husband we worked together as a partnership, right? And then we grew into a team and started a team. And I think through that course of that journey, one thing is really important, and that's what matters is the relationships you develop and your execution, right? So it's what you do and what you say really matters. And that doesn't matter the size of the market that you're in or the size of the community that you're in. That just matters no matter what. So I think, that kind of starts, where I started out. And then coming into EXP, man, I was so lucky to be asked to join EXP as a managing broker. And then I became the designated managing broker from Arizona, 600 agents. It was incredible. And then being able to be promoted into regional director and now vice president of brokerage operations. Again, I think what you do and what you say matters no matter what, whether you're an agent or whether you're a leader or you're working hard for a brokerage. I think that's really crucial, first and foremost. And then I think in all of those roles that we've held, it's always been about serving, right? Serving our clients, serving our agents, and get to help our agents succeed in business. And I get to do that all across the country, which is super exciting. And I love the fact that I get to create systems and really empower our agents to have success at any level, no matter the market that they're in, no matter the size of production that they're working for. I just get to help them and I get to serve them. And that just brings me a lot of joy. So
that's awesome.
That's a long story. For a short question.
No, that's great. And so you said a lot of great things there, but when you were talking about the market doesn't matter, I think that's huge because a lot of people can kind of fall into that trap, right? Like, oh, the market's not very good. We talk about it a lot, Jeff and I, but it's no matter what, there's going to be people that need help, right? Need help buying and selling real estate. And it's the individuals that stay positive, continue to do what it takes, right? The daily activities to meet these people, to serve these people, right? So it really doesn't matter the market. It matters who you are as long as you're staying the course, staying positive. So I really like how you said that there. That was good. And a question as we were kind of going through that, like what kind of made you want to shift from basically an agent serving clients to now the broker role helping to serve the agents? What kind of drove that decision? Because obviously that's a pretty different role there, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. And it's kind of been a progression, right, of leadership. And I think, again, when you settle into a career, you hit a point, at a certain point, you hit a point where you're like, I want to share what I know, right? And so that kind of started when we started our team and we started mentoring and coaching our team agents and imparting that knowledge on them and helping them succeed. That was really exciting, And then you start to think like, well, could I expand that? And then, I got an opportunity to be a managing broker and I thought, oh, cool. This is like mentoring my agents, but only on a broader scale and getting to teach and train them. And then, of course, stepping into the broker role, right? That's like, 2,600 agents I get to mentor and lead and coach. That was amazing. And now is the vice president of brokerage operations. I have an amazing co-vice president. By the way, her name's Lauren Coleman. She's amazing. And we get to work together a lot, which is so cool. But we get to help an entire country of agents all across the nation. And we get to help them grow and succeed and be productive. So, I think it's amazing. And over time, that desire to help others, succeed, kind of morphs into, oh, now I get to help an entire which succeed, which is so cool, right? And helping to formulate systems and processes and what's best for our agents and how do we help them be more productive? How do we help them be more efficient? What are things we get to do? And that is so exciting, right? So it's kind of fun to just take that passion, that original passion, what drove us into real estate to begin with, which is helping to serve others, and then get to see that come to fruition on the other side as well, and being able to help agents in turn now do the same.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. And thinking about that, there are some obviously agents a lot of times feel like they're working 24/7, right? Helping clients, always on the phone, always readily available. Being on the broker side now, obviously you have thousands of people that you are helping. How does that workload compare? I mean, I was always curious, like, being a broker and kind of overseeing all of these agents, and obviously you're helping them all throughout the day. How does that compare to answering phone calls maybe at 9 or 10 o'clock at night for clients?
Sure, absolutely. So I think with every role, there's an opportunity to make sure that you have in your life, right, for not just your work, which it's a lot. I will say I probably didn't. I work hard now. I don't want to gloss over the fact that I work hard. I do take phone calls sometimes late at night. I start my days very early because we're a global company. So sometimes meetings occur at 6:30 in the morning, my time, so, and that's okay. But I will say, I think our real estate agents probably work the hardest, right? Because the care that we give our clients is sometimes unending, right? And that can be really late at night, really early in the morning. So I think it's really important to prioritize, to set boundaries. I am a absolute calendar, I just run by my calendar. And if I need time for things that are outside of work, like life, it goes on the calendar, because otherwise it can, my calendar gets filled up, right? And as agents, the same thing happens. You're scheduling showings, and you're spending time with this client, and you're coordinating this closing, and you're doing this, finagling this contract and negotiating and all those things. And your calendar can get really filled. And I think as an agent in particular, we can find ourselves just working all the time. And so I think if we live, for me anyway, if we live by our calendar and we also schedule our personal stuff on the calendar, then we're not gonna miss out on important things.
Such a great point. I've often taught agents over the years, you put your personal items, your vacations on your calendar first, throughout the year. That way you don't cheat yourself, because what's on the calendar gets done. If it's not on the calendar, it won't get done.
Absolutely.
I want to say everyone in Arizona is so proud of you, Beth. And I see the way you live your life. I'm very honored that you're one of our leaders, and to see you rise up the ranks. You and Holly, I feel like so honored that Arizona is so well represented, because we have such good skill set here. And I'm very proud of you guys. And right now we've got a little less than 90,000 agents globally in the country, or in the company. How many agents, do you know approximately how many agents are in the United States right now?
I think off the top of my head, we have right around, I want to say right around 70,000 agents in the US.
Yeah.
And then the remaining are Canada and the rest of the countries. I think we're in 27 countries altogether, which is super exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. We're just about ready to open up Japan, right? If we haven't already. I know we're close.
Very close. Very close. I don't think we've opened it quite yet, but yeah, super close.
Okay. Good stuff. So tell me, back to Chase's point, you got a lot of stuff you got going on. You want to be a great mom. You want to be a great wife. And from all things that I see, you are. So how are you doing that? How are you balancing all that out? You talked about your calendar. I think that's huge. Is there anything else you're doing to kind of get some insight on how you do that?
So the calendar is, I will say that's really, really crucial. And then the other thing is being really ruthless with what's urgent versus what's not urgent, right? I think prioritizing is so, so important, so that you can take care of the things that really, really matter. And then you're not spinning your wheels on things that maybe can fall a little bit further down the list. And then, we hear the term work-life balance, right? And I don't necessarily think that it's always a balance. And I think that that's hard because then it becomes something that's unattainable, right? And then we're always struggling for that balance. But I think it's more of a rhythm, right? And understanding that there are some days where I am going to give more to work because it's required for that day, right? And there are other days where I'm going to give to my family because that's what's required, right? So I think it's more of a rhythm rather than a balance. And I think what's key in all of that is making sure that when you are at work, you're fully present. And when you're with your family, you're fully present. So I am very ruthless in, like, for example, last week I took vacation and I was out, turned off all my notifications. I had a vacation setting on my email. I made sure I had important things covered by my amazing co-VP. And I was out. I didn't look at chats. I didn't look at emails. I was fully present with my family, making sure that, we were having this most amazing vacation and I wasn't being distracted by work. And I think you have to do that. You have to kind of be very, very present when you are doing what you're doing and making sure your attention isn't divided. I think that also helps you, especially with family, right? They're knowing that you're not distracted by work when they're trying to have a conversation with you. So I think that ruthlessness is important.
Yeah. I look back at my own life and I have to admit I wasn't always present, when the kids were growing up. I remember sometimes I'd actually have the cell phone at the kitchen table, which I regret. But, it's like you said, being present. I couldn't agree more. And when you talk about a balanced life, I kind of think that's a fallacy. I just don't think it exists. I think you go in and out of balance. And I think that if you stay in an out of balance state, if you're imbalanced for quite a long time, that's unsustainable. So I think it's a matter of trying to shorten those periods of imbalance. And in real estate, we live in kind of it's more of a reactive industry because you're reacting to the needs and wants of your clients, but you don't have to live a reactive life. And you can program your calendar to meet with the people you want to meet with and to not meet with the people you don't want to meet with. And so it's really all about, do you own your calendar or not? And you got to know what to say no to. And I think a lot of people just really struggle with that. And it also comes down to expectation setting, with your clients and the people that are around you, right? It's the language you're using because you're teaching them on how to treat you by what you say, right? I sometimes hear people, I hear people on the voicemail go, I'm Jeff and I'm available 24/7 anytime. I'm like, why? Why would you want to tell your clients that? So I just wanted to say, I appreciate what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that calendar helps. Making sure you've got that time already scheduled is so crucial.
So Beth, do you have any advice for other women that are aspiring to be in these leadership roles, in the real estate space? Anything you've learned along the way that they can kind of take and use that as they're aspiring to be in these leadership roles?
Yeah, absolutely. The first one is own your ambition without apology. I think so many times as women, we're afraid to say, I want more, or I'm capable of more, or I want to lead. I want to be in a position of leadership. I think we need to give ourselves the ability to do that and to say, I am ambitious. I do want to, take opportunities as they arise and see, where can I go with my leadership? Absolutely. I think we also have to be okay with being uncomfortable. I never once said yes to a promotion or a role without thinking, can I? Right? I'm going to feel uncomfortable because, man, I don't know that I can. But I think that it's okay to be uncomfortable, for one, and then knowing that we're capable of learning and growing and stretching ourselves. And it's okay to feel that. I think it's really, really important for us to give ourselves the permission to do that. I'm also one to say, I am never afraid to say, I don't know, or I've never done that before, or I'm really not sure, but I'm going to find out. And then I go tap into my resources, my mentors, my coaches to get help, because maybe I'm finding myself in a place where I've never been before. And I really don't know, but I'm going to find out, and it's okay to do that. We're not going to, in any role you're going to take on, including new agents that are just stepping into the business, you're not going to know everything. There's going to be so much that we don't know. And, stepping into a broker role or a regional director role or the vice president role, there's so much I didn't know, but I knew I was going to learn it. I was going to figure it out. And then I was fully capable of doing that. Right. And then never be afraid to ask for help. I think it's okay to say, hey, I need some help here. Help me. Can you help me out? I'm not sure where to go or what direction to take. Or, I think asking for help is okay. I think being vulnerable is not a weakness. I think being kind is not a weakness. And I think, especially for women, we don't have to get rid of those things as a woman in leadership. We don't have to eliminate those things. I think we need to embrace them and recognize that those are not weaknesses, that they actually help us be great leaders. And then finally, I will say my last thing, and this is something I've really tried to embrace in the last year or so, is curiosity and seeking clarity through being curious and not being afraid to ask questions. If I don't understand something or I'm unsure of what is being talked about, or if I'm confused, I'm going to ask questions and I'm going to be comfortable with asking those questions, because there's probably other people in the room that are thinking the same thing or having the same thoughts. And it's okay to speak up and say, hey, I'm not really sure, but can you help me understand? Or, can you restructure that a little bit differently, or tell me that in a different way so I can understand it a little bit better? It is always okay to ask questions.
Wow. That was gold. That was gold.
I think the being uncomfortable thing is amazing, right? And that's for everybody, because we want to be comfortable, right? And when things pop up, these promotions that you're like, well, I don't know, there's a little bit of that, you're not sure, am I capable of doing it, right? But hopping in and that, hey, I'm not going to know everything, but I'm going to learn along the way and ask the right questions and surround myself with the right individuals that are going to help me get there and figure it out, right? So that's a big thing right there for everybody, I think.
Yeah.
And you said something else that I wrote it down. It could be the title of the podcast. Own your ambition without apologizing. That is powerful. I mean, I did a podcast with my wife several months ago. It was a lot of fun. And she was talking about how when our kids were younger, how she'd go to like the playground and she was judged because she went to work but she enjoyed working. And then there was judgment coming from both sides, the women that worked, the women that didn't work. And it kind of made me sad, because to me, you got to follow your own path, and if that's your calling, then you need to follow it. And I just really love what you said there. And I also love that you said being vulnerable and kind is a strength. And it absolutely is, because whether you're a female or male, I would much rather work for a kind person, whether they're male or female, and somebody that's authentic and vulnerable with me, somebody that actually cares about me as a human being. Right. And, I used to work at Intel Corporation years ago in corporate America. And a lot of people believe that you should not try to forge a personal relationship with your direct reports. I don't agree with that. I was very interested in their lives. Of course, there's boundaries. I'm not going to cross those boundaries, but I always asked about their life, and I'd spend every time one-on-one with them, talking about, how can we improve your life? Not just your work at the company, but what can I do to help you live a better life? And to me, that's leadership. It's taking the time on your calendar to put it on your calendar and make it a systematic way of touching the people that you work with so they know you care. The best bosses I ever had in my life exhibited those traits. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, Beth.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we're in a relationship business, right? Like our entire business revolves around relationships and establishing relationships. And we can do that inauthentically, but we won't have longevity in the business. Or we can do that authentically by having vulnerability and kindness. And that, I think that's not just as agents, but that's as people in this industry who are leading this industry. And I think one of the amazing things about EXP is that we have those leaders. From the top down, we have those leaders who genuinely care and are authentic. And it's amazing to work with them, and it's amazing to see them lead and to support our agents.
So with that being said, let's focus. Let's talk a little bit about eXp Realty. One of the things we say is we are the most agent-centric brokerage on the planet. So what does that mean to you, Beth? And can you give us any examples of how we exhibit that as a company? Because truly, I think that's revolutionary. I've been in the business 25 years. eXp sees us as the main customer in my mind. And if they do a good job supporting us, then we're doing a great job for the consumer. What say you, my friend?
Yeah, I think, we use the word agent-centric a lot. It's kind of thrown out there. But I think what's really important is that for eXp, for us as staff, it's not just a slogan, right? It's something that we embrace, and it is in our culture. It's in everything that we do. It's in our entire operating system. And when it drives everything that we do. Is this best for the agent? Is this going to help the agent be more productive? Is this going to help the agent succeed in their business? And everything is built upon that foundation. And that comes from Glenn Sanford, our amazing owner and founder. That's the foundation he built this entire company on. And it's something that you'll find that is integrated into everything that we do. Is it best for the agent? And that really, I think, is what agent-centric means, is that we are always looking at how can we do things better for the agent. And I think I love that about our company. And then I love that we are constantly turning that rock over, right? How can we do it better? Okay, we've got this, but how can we improve it? Because we're always trying to just do that much more. And we want that for our agents too, right? So, you asked, what are some examples? And I will say the newest and coolest thing that we've done that's really agent-centric is the launch of our CRM of choice. So, a lot of brokerages will give their agents a client relationship manager, and they get that client relationship manager and they get to use that one. Of course, they can go out on their own and buy their own and use different ones. But what our incredible company did was they said, okay, we can give you a CRM, but what if we gave you a choice of CRMs? What if we said, here's 3 CRMs, you pick the one that's best for you and your style of business, and then you get to use that CRM. And that's all included in our monthly fee. There's no extra cost to that. They just get to pick which one works the best for them and go on about their business, which I think is incredible. I think that's so agent-centric. That's revolutionary as a brokerage. I don't know of any other brokerage that's doing that. That's allowing agents to pick and choose. And I think that's really, really cool. So I'm super excited about that. That just launched this week, by the way. That just hit July 1st. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, the 3 CRMs are Bold Trail, which used to be KV Core, Lofty, and Close. And I will say I've been a KV Core user, and the migration over to Bold Trail has been magnificent. I've gone to the training. It's even easier to use now than it ever was before. So I'm really excited about the future of those choices and just the more functionality that I'm getting that I didn't before. And the other thing I just wanted to go back to what you said is, you look at our leadership team. This is a big reason why I'm in love with eXp is most of them are practitioners or ex-practitioners of real estate. That is a very, very big deal. For those of you that are listening, I know that my owner, I know that my CEO, my senior VP of operations, and my VP of operations, they've done the deal. So they have empathy. They understand what it's like to walk in our shoes, that you can't duplicate that. You can't have some institutional investor sit back and know what it's like to be an agent. And that's part of the reason why we're excelling. You guys have been in our seat. And I just want to say a big thank you from everyone, because that's so important.
It really is. I think that boots on the ground knowledge brings a different level of agent-centricness to the company, because we all know what it's like to be there. And we know how hard agents work. And I think one of the things we want to do is just really make sure we're providing the tools and resources that our agents need to succeed and be productive. Our agents are the most productive agents in any brokerage, which is really cool. And I think that speaks volumes of our incredible agent population and how hard they work. And we want to be able to provide them with the support that they need to do that high level of business.
Yeah. And with that said, Beth, we mentioned that we're close to 90,000 agents now. Where do you see EXP going in the next 5 or 10 years?
Just continuing our growth trajectory, right? I know Glenn's vision is like 200,000 agents. I think we're going to get there because it's really hard to ignore us as a company, right? And what we have to offer agents. I think we're going to be agent-centric, but even with more enablement, meaning we're going to give agents even more ability to have choices and run their business. And I think of how we are right on the verge of leveraging AI in a way that is going to really just, I think, revolutionize how we do business. I think that's coming. I think we'll continue our incredible culture of community and collaboration, because that's something that is also incredibly unique to EXP. I think we will continue to see our agent count grow because, again, I think it's really hard to ignore what we have to offer. And I think agents, especially as the market gets tougher, I think agents are going to be seeking out those brokerages that really have been tried and true and really truly want to support agents in their production and not just take money from them, right? We want to see our agents succeed. And it doesn't matter if you are a solo agent. It doesn't matter if you're a huge team. We have tools and resources for anybody and everybody.
If you think about what's happened in the last 10 years at EXP, it's monumental. No company's ever done what we've done. And you look at the kind of leadership that we've had, especially during the NAR lawsuit and the settlement, and what we did as far as leading from the front, actually creating forms that our agents could use that were friendly with the DOJ settlement, that we would comply appropriately, not just at the minimal level, but going above and beyond. And then sharing it with other brokerages. I mean, that's an abundant mindset, and that is why I'm so proud to be a part of this. That is true leadership. And when you talk about tech, Beth, especially like with the AI, what are you seeing? Because one of the things I love about Leo, and Glenn too, they understand technology.
Uh-huh.
Do you see anything that just kind of you sit back and go, wow, we are right on the cutting edge with everything that's being introduced? Because there's constant new tech coming into real estate, right?
There's a lot of it. And I think absolutely. I think that, we're moving very swiftly, but we're also being responsible, right? Once again, the agent is always at the heart of those decisions. Does this empower the agent? Does this support the agent? Does this provide the agent with what they need to do their business? And so I think it's not tech over touch. I think it's tech with touch, right? It's leveraging our tech to help our agents. And I think also I think one of the things that we're doing as a company, and hopefully we're helping our agents do the same thing, is that innovation, right? It's a mindset shift, and we've made that shift. We're helping our agents make the shift. We want our agents to be prepared for all of these technology changes and understanding how to leverage those things in their business. And so our staff is rapidly embracing AI and tech, and we're doing that so we can help our agents do the same. And we have some amazing things in the work, and I can't wait. It's coming.
You got me excited.
I know. I'm excited. I'm so excited. But yeah, we have some really cool stuff coming.
Well, it's so cool to use the stuff we have now. It's like now I use Canva Pro, which you get with the subscription with EXP, and it's integrated with the MLS. So I can just dump my photos right into there. Boom, done. I love it.
It's amazing. That alone is incredible that we all get to have Canva Pro at our fingertips. And then, we just jumped into Slack, coming out of workplace, jumping into Slack, and Slack is so amazing. It's got so many cool tools and features and Slack bots that are AI powered little things that do things for you. It's amazing.
I didn't know about the Slack bot.
Yes. If you have not jumped into Slack yet, you've got to get in there. It's amazing. So it's a very cool tool for us to be able to share with our agents.
with Glenn and Leo. I mean, Leo, they've all come from, like we mentioned earlier, they were agents. They know the industry. We know that they're hardworking individuals. How is it working with Glenn and Leo?
It's amazing. I mean, Glenn is truly a visionary, right? And he is always thinking about, again, how do we do things? What's next? What's the next thing we're going to do for our agents? And again, truly that agent-centric mindset, right? And then Leo he was an agent, right? He knows exactly what it's like to be an agent, and he is so amazing. He was such an incredible leader through the NAR settlement, Holly as well. It's just amazing to work with individuals who are authentic. I think, again, that's just really important, and who know exactly what it's like to be an agent. I think that's truly why we are shining as a company, and we're able to provide our agents with the tools to be productive, is because we have leadership that knows exactly what it's like to be there.
And when you talk about your average agent looking to affiliate with EXP, their number one question, or one of the most important things, is leads. How can you help me generate more business? And I don't think people really understand the depth of all the programs that we have at EXP. Could you share maybe a few things of what we're doing to help agents grow their business? It's really spectacular.
My goodness. Yes, we have so many incredible lead sources, and I think you're right. I think it's an untapped, market there. I don't think a lot of our agents know exactly what we have to offer, but so we have our EXP luxury division, which is amazing. If luxury is your niche, then the EXP luxury is incredible. The things that we offer our luxury agents in terms of marketing and tools and resources and advertising is really incredible. We just launched Land and Ranch, our Land and Ranch division. Like luxury, it's a niche market, but my goodness, the amount of amenities that we're providing our Land and Ranch agents is really, truly incredible. We have EXP Revenos, which is our corporate relocation and our affinity partners. And so the lead opportunities just there alone, I think it's something like 40,000 leads a month are coming into our EXP Revenos department. It's really incredible. Agents can get certified to work as an REO agent or a relocation expert, or work as an affinity agent, meaning you're helping companies and employees of those companies relocate. And so there's some really incredible opportunities that are really untapped. We have our partnership with Realty.com, which also provides EXP agents select communities and areas in which they can be a select agent through Realty.com. So we have some really incredible opportunities that I don't think a lot of our agents are taking advantage of. I wish more of them that. And then I will say the one other thing that we have that is really now at this point a proven success is our Fast Cap, which is our training program to get our newer agents in and capping and on their way to being icon and being a 100% productive agent. And it's a proven program. We have agents who have completed the program and come out of it, even while they're in the program, are getting leads. They're writing contracts. And this might be an agent that just became an agent, and in 30 days, they are getting their first property under contract. And it's really incredible. The Fast Cap program is really, really helping our new agents become productive. It's really cool.
I saw real quick on that. I saw a statistic the other day that over 5 agreements are being written on average per agent in 6 weeks. That's buyer broker, broker agreements or listing agreements. That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an amazing program. And if you do the work, right? Like again, we talked about consistency. If you do the work, it's really, the statistics are there to say that it does truly pay off. And that's the other thing is Sisu. We've got an accountability program that helps our agents with their productivity. And again, that's something that agents get just for their monthly fee. So really, really cool.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit earlier about, obviously not letting the market dictate your activities and your mindset and whatnot. But do you have any advice for agents that are trying to, grow their business in this market, succeed? You spent a lot of years as an agent yourself. What was your secret sauce when you were out there killing the game in the sales space, Beth?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna burst everybody's bubble here and tell you there's no secret sauce. But there are three things that you want to do and one thing that you don't want to do. You want to be intentional, you want to be consistent, and you're going to have to give it time. It takes 9 months to have a baby, and many times it takes that amount of time to have your first real estate transaction or have your marketing come to fruition. It does take time, and there is no secret sauce, and you can't be distracted by the shiny objects. If someone says they can guarantee you business or leads, or it's not true, right? We know that you've got to work for it, and that consistency and intention is truly the most important. You have to show up every day. You have to put in the work. And then you got to give it time, because sometimes it does just take time. That is no secret sauce, but, I think any market, it doesn't matter what market it is. It could be a buyer market, a seller market. It can be a neutral market. It can be a REO market. Any market rewards consistency and execution. So if you show up and do the work, you're going to be successful.
Yeah. You got to treat it like a business, right? I mean, we talk about it a lot, and that's a good point of just taking time. I mean, when you're doing the right stuff, you're like, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? But if you continue to do the right stuff and just know, hey, I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing, it's only a matter of time before it starts paying off, before you start seeing the results. But it does take time.
Chase, you should share your story just real quickly about, how the first 3 months you were in training mode, you kept on doing it, you kept on pushing the wheel, and all of a sudden, right? Boom.
Yeah, 100%. It was like the first 3 or 4 months, I didn't get my first closing for 4 months, I think. But then after that, it was like I turned around and we had 8 in escrow at one time. So it was like everything kind of just snowballed effect, and all that work pays off eventually. It's just, you don't see it right away. So
yeah, you do. And it's true. I think it's, if you put in the work, all of a sudden you'll have so much work you won't know what to do.
Exactly.
Like, do I need an assistant? I just started. I don't know. Yeah, it really is just, it's putting in the time, being consistent, and before you know it, it'll start. It's like a snowball. It just starts growing and growing, and then you're like, oh man, this is amazing. But I think a lot of times agents get defeated because they think it's going to be instantaneous, especially our new agents, right? They think it's going to be right away. They're going to get business. And sometimes they do, right? Sometimes they come into real estate with business. But then after that business closes, where's the next business coming from, right? So I think it's learning those systems and being consistent is so, so vital.
Friends, we're here with Beth Adams, the Vice President of Brokerage Operations at eXp. This has been a blessing today. Beth, is there any question you wish we would have asked you today that we didn't ask you?
I think I wished you would have asked me what my favorite flavor of ice cream was. It's hot out. It's summer.
Well, what is it?
My favorite ice cream flavor is Jamocha almond fudge from Baskin Robbins.
Baskin Robbins, yes.
Yeah, that's old school. That's going to date me just a little bit.
You can't beat Baskin Robbins.
That's right.
Wow. Just what a gift you've given us today. You gave us some really good stuff to think about. This has been a very productive conversation. I just want to thank you for joining us today, and thank you for helping lead the company. And it's very apparent we're in really, really good hands. Wouldn't you agree, Chase?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, we are in good hands because we have amazing agents like both of you at eXp, and we have an incredible agent base that is just truly phenomenal. And we're here because you're here. So I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. This has been just really joyous. So thank you.
Thank you, Beth. I appreciate you. And for all those of you who are listening, we thank you for listening. Just go to the Jeff Sutherland Show on YouTube to subscribe. And we've been doing a lot of good stuff. We're talking about the whole buyer process. Chase and I went through that. You're going to be seeing that on our videos. We just did a complete Phoenix market update. We do that every month. We also shared our VIP buyer program. And when you're interested in talking to us about that, we will help you get more buyers under contract. And we're here to serve you. We're here to help you. So 25 years in the business for myself. Chase took off like a rocket his first year, closed like 14 deals in his first year. That's not too bad in this market. I'm very proud to be his partner. And so just from all of us, we want to say thank you. And Beth, thanks again. You're an amazing lady. So we appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day, everybody.